All right, 2 champions, 1 show. Let's go.
This is Tom Fuentes from Smoking Onions, and you are watching the So Smoking Gooder Show. Stupid beer, damn!
All right, yes, thank you, Tom Fuentes. What is up? Tom Fuentes with the Smoking Onions. Stupid beer. Yes, I love that intro. I didn't even think about that. I probably shouldn't have used the stupid beer when we have a junior champ on tonight, but that's okay. We will get through this. All right, what is up, Gooder Gang? Thank you for tuning in to the So Smoking Gooder Show. My name is Rob Arocha, and I'm coming to you from the Bullhorn headquarters in Cypress, Texas. Damn glad you have found us tonight, whether you're checking us out on Facebook or on YouTube's or my one guy over on Twitch. Thank you very much. We are going to have a great show. I always say that. I always say we're going to have a great show, and I always mean it because I enjoy doing these. But tonight is going to be a special show. One, we got 2 champs on at the one time. We're going to have the 2020 Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo World's Championship Barbecue Cook-Off Grand Champion, Mr. Curt Harbers from CC's Country Barbecue. He's going to start the show, and then a little later in the show, we're going to have my son, Evan Arocha. He is the 2020 HLSR World Championship Barbecue Cook-Off Junior Grand Champion, the inaugural one, the only one to date. So we'll have him a little later in the show. But before we get to any and all of that, I got to introduce you to my show partner, Mr. Case Hahn. What is up, Case?
I've been in this chair for 24 straight hours, anxiously waiting to be on the interwebs with you tonight.
Was that the longest intro? Didn't you? You love those intros, man.
Then I got muted. I was like, I didn't think I was ever going to join this show tonight.
Yes, you are. Of course, people don't know who the guest host is. Obviously, you're the main co-host, but sometimes we've had some pop-ins. Shout out to Carmen Breeden last weekend. She stepped in for you. Tony Tanache has stepped in.
Carmen, huge improvement. Tony, not so much.
Tony's in the comments. Top fan Tony is in the comments. What's up, Tony? Hello, everybody. Sean Larkin, Daddy Dutch, Jared. Too many to mention, although I see Danny Regan. What's up, Danny? Amy Yunk is watching. Hello, Amy. I checked her out. She had a show on earlier today. That was cool watching. So, Case, how you been, buddy? How was people? You mentioned it last time you were on the show. You headed to California to go
What an
NASCAR watching.
Interesting place that is California. So,
how was the trip?
it was good. It was a quick trip. We left out early. Early Sunday morning. Got down there and landed in a whole nother country that was California, and made it to the races on time. Showed our vaccine cards and negative test, and bought Busch Light beer for $14 a can. A few Busch Light beers for $14. $14 a can for Busch Light, and I think they sold out. That's what happens in NASCAR. People show up. So.
Well, that was a small ass track. How was the race, though? I mean, I know let's get on the barbecue, but how was the race, real quick?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Weather was really nice out in California. They paved the inside of the LA Coliseum that was built back in like the 20s for the Olympics, and it was a sight to see. It really was. It was glad we made it. Quick trip. Got back on a plane at 5:30 in the morning their time, and was back working by noon in Houston. So I think we figured out. I think we did California and back in 28 hours, and so it was definitely a quick trip. But glad we did it, and it's officially race week for NASCAR fans. So Daytona 500 is this Sunday, and we're looking forward to it as I defend my fantasy NASCAR crown that none of y'all really care to hear about, but I do. And so, for the second time in 9 years, I am a fantasy NASCAR champion.
Congratulations. I can't tell what was worse, the ridiculously long intro or that whole NASCAR talk. But hey, I know people love it.
Who's talking trash about NASCAR?
No, I'm not. Nobody's talking trash about NASCAR. Well, Case, it is Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. I want to say it's the week, but it's next week. But I'll be going live from the ground. So this is officially our last true show about HLSR, and we got two big deals. But you know all about the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. You've been a big part of it. You were a volunteer for a number of years. What can you shed some light on? What its purpose? Why do they do this every year here in Houston?
Yeah, absolutely. So those of you that are not from the Houston area or Texas in general, the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo is a big event. It takes up the entire month of March, but it kicks off with the World Championship Barbecue Competition is the first event. It's 3 fantastic days of really a lot of partying and celebration with the barbecue contest kind of intermixed in the end. And then literally that will end on Saturday, and we'll kick off the show actually on a Monday this year. I think it's a Monday. Cody Johnson kicks off the rodeo, and they'll go for 28, 29 straight days with the goal ultimately of raising somewhere in the neighborhood of $26 million for scholarships and education for the state of Texas. And it's a big thing, obviously, for Houston. But for those of you who are watching from other parts of the country, if you've never experienced Rodeo Houston, highly invite you down to Houston in either late February for the cook-off or obviously pretty much any day in March. You can come down and watch world-class rodeo and entertainment. So that is my open invite to come down to Houston. And I'm just glad the rodeo's back. It was 2 years ago, COVID literally shut the rodeo down mid-show. And it's been a while, and looking forward. I know the entire Houston, and I think a lot of us are ready to move on, but I know Houston's ready to have the rodeo back.
Yes, we are. I am doubly excited. It's been 2 years, like you said, and people are going to get back, and the rodeo contest is a big deal. That's what kicks off the whole festivities. So the barbecue contest, which is coming up. We're going to talk to Curt, talk about how his time went last year, which was obviously very well. And if there's any new rule changes, I do not know because I'm not cooking it officially this year, so I have no idea of any rule changes. So we'll ask him about what they expect and how it's different than a normal contest. All right, but before we get to any and all of that, we do have to give a wonderful shout out to our wonderful sponsors. So here we go. Shout out to our great sponsors, Rec Tech, Cosmos Q Products, Texas Pepper Jelly, Briscoe Ranch Cook-Off at the Crossroads, LC Barbecue, Rick's RV Rentals and Repairs, Eureka Heights Brew Company, Chicken Fried Barbecue Grind, Jay Harding and Company, Texas Oil Dust, Bullprint Wraps and Graphics, and the Barbecue Store in Hempstead. Thank you for supporting the So Smokin' Gooder Show. All righty, thank you, sponsors, and shout out to the Barbecue Store in Hempstead. If you guys tuned in last week, we had Joey Smith and Dustin Stanley on talking about the Texas Six-Pack and all about the Texas Chrome Heroes Foundation. In case you were tuning in, you were a viewer last week with Carmen. Did you see what we gave away on the show last week?
I caught. I did not catch all of it. Yeah, so I just I logged in and briefly saw it, but I didn't want to be a distraction because our fantastic guest host we had last week, and so I didn't see it.
No, you were not a distraction. However, we did give away, I believe it wound up being a $350 gift. Yeah, I know it was a $350 gift card to the Barbecue Store in Hempstead. Compliments of the Barbecue Store, Texas Chrome Heroes Foundation, and Aaron Leslie with Texas Oil Dust. So that went out to Carlos Calzada. Congratulations. Corby and Greg, your stuff went out this week. So our giveaways are officially, so far, we're up to date. We're going to give away something else today. We'll figure out. We will figure out how that goes on the giveaway. I don't even know what to give away. Maybe some
real quick. I want to highlight two more of our sponsors.
Yeah.
I can tell you we've been a big fan of Rec Tech. They've been a big supporter of ours. We got a message first thing this morning from guys in Cleveland. I think I had about 4 or 5 just random phone calls and messages leading up to the Super Bowl. People getting ready to grill, asking, "You guys really like those Rec Techs that you brag about?" I'm like, "Yes."
Love it.
So, got a lot of new Rec Tech owners in there. If you're a Rec Tech owner, put in the comment. If you're not a Rec Tech owner, what the hell is wrong with you?
Exactly. Pretzel, what's up?
And the other thing I can tell you is we went to the RV show this past weekend when it was at Houston. Those things are expensive. The smartest thing that I can tell you anybody right now, I own one. I've had it for about 7 years. If you don't, Rick's got a hell of a deal. It's a lot cheaper to rent from Rick than it is to sign up for payments that I was seeing people sign up for at the RV show. And Rick's got a fantastic fleet. We saw some driving ones. I think we may leave ours at home and just take one of his driving ones because my wife won't let me buy a $100,000 RV. So
cool.
Shout out to both of those guys this week.
Yes. All right. Before we get to Curt, I just want to give everybody thank you again for tuning in. We got 55 over here, I think, on Facebook. I don't know how many on YouTube. Somebody wants to give me a YouTube update. What's up, YouTube peeps?
Twitch? What's the other one? Does Twitch got anything?
Twitch, I'm sure there's still one guy. Maybe. One or none. We'll see. All right. We've been teasing him long enough. He's sitting in the green room, which is just nothing, but he's sitting in his living room. Who knows where he's at? He is the 2020 Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo Grand Champion of the barbecue contest. Makes him a world champion all the way from where, Case?
No clue. Never heard of it.
Let's bring on our first guest of the evening,
Mr.
Oh,
no.
Case,
Harbers.
No.
Just for you, baby. Just for you, Case.
Prepared for this.
Yep. Purple and gold, baby. You know it.
Oh, gosh.
Just kind of get this on.
Purple and
Probably
gold,
the best
baby.
we're going to get.
What the hell? You can't even fit that on your head, dude.
It doesn't fit as well as it used to.
Did you wear that? Did you wear that at one time? What does that say? CC? Columbus
Columbus Cardinals.
CC's
Cardinals.
Country Barbecue is what it stands for.
That is not what that stands for. Not gonna lie, Curt is my second favorite cook from Fayette County. David Toffel would be number one, but Curt, you're
And I am
strong
fine
number
with
two.
that. I'm fine.
And that's
with
pretty
that.
much where
fine young man.
I think that's where the list actually stops of cooks I actually like from Fayette County. So if anybody else is in the comments tonight, that needs to be known.
All right. So, Curt, this is your first time on the So Smoke and Getter show. I know that you have done the circuit. You've been on some other shows. But, man, how does it feel to make it to the big time, brother?
Man, big time. I love it. I've been waiting for this for 2 years, Rob.
Buddy, hey,
Case
I know.
been holding out. Is that what it was? Case been like, no, it's not time.
You would think if you would have won a big contest, you would have been on right away. I mean, we had winners of San Antonio on right away. I mean, we'll probably have somebody. If you win Columbus, we'll probably have you right away. Did you win a big cook-off? What was that cook-off?
Yep, exactly. I mean, we've slept since then.
Right. Hey, you know what? COVID happened. Give me a break. That's what happened. That's why you haven't been on the show. No, but sincerely, congratulations. It's been a long time coming. Thanks for coming on the show. We are honored to have you on. Anytime we can get a world champion on the show, it's a great deal. So take us back to that day, 2020, March or whatever it was. No, February. How'd you feel about everything? Well, first off, I'm sorry. Let's back up real quick. Introduce yourself, where you're from, give a little background real quick before we get into the nuts and bolts of Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo.
My name's Curt Harbers. Cook for CC's Country Barbecue. That is my team name, catering service, etc. Named after my son, Cade Christopher. We kind of were doing some side cooking out at the Round Top Warrenton Antique Show, and we didn't really have a name. And my son was just born, and his grandfather, my father-in-law, was just always picking around at him. And one day he said, "What are you doing, CC?" And it just kind of stuck, So CC's Country Barbecue kind of stuck with us, and we've been going ever since. That was in 2015 when all that kind of went down and happened, and having a good time. And like you said, just kind of slowly started getting in on the circuit, doing just some local cook-offs. Kind of went to one or two what I would have considered big cook-offs. Today's time, not so much a big cook-off, even though there's lots of teams there. Not so much a big cook-off like what we talk about, a big cook-off with the power that we have going around some of these cook-offs when there's 35 to 50 teams. There's some that are 100, 125, and wow, you go, man, that's, big. But while you still got, a dozen, 2 dozen teams that you go, wow, that's really the guys that we got to look out for. You don't have the 75 teams that you go, wow, anybody's game today type
Right.
deal. So it's one of those. The game has changed tremendously from when I first started, even back then in 2015 to today, meaning 2022. It's changed since then. It's changed since 2020, since we cooked at Houston. So there's lots of things going on. Lots of things have changed. And don't get me wrong, it's not that it's for the worse. It's for the better. The only way to evolve something is to make it better, and change is inevitable. So again, like I said, Curt Harbers here, CC's Country Barbecue, one under the name Fayette County Go Texan. Happened to cook a local county fair that happened to be a Go Texan event. Really didn't know a whole lot about that, to be quite honest with you. I was actually just going to have a spot for me to go party and have a good time at the fair and listen to some music and have some beverages and do a little barbecue cooking at the same time.
For those that don't know, those county Go Texan events, how many do you have to win? Did you just have to win that one to get in? Or
we had to
were
win
there
that
multiple?
one to get in. That is correct. Because I am from the county. And actually, to be quite honest, I didn't win before it comes up. I didn't win it. I got reserve grand champion of that county fair. Brad Olenek actually won it. However, he's not from the county. He's from Katy. And so it went to the reserve grand champion, and that happened to be myself. And that's how we got in to go and cook Houston. And
Nice.
And The rest kind of is history from there as far as that goes. Even though that was one of the craziest 6 days of my life.
Yeah. So, Case, you got something real quick?
Yeah, Kurt, Houston's out. Growing up south of Ellinger, north of Columbus, I kind of know that 71 run. Houston's a big deal. But do you find yourself preparing? And I'm going to say some events that in towns that Rob's never heard of, but whether it's the Gadinki in Weimar or Ellinger, do you find yourself doing things differently? Obviously, Schulenburg Festival now is an IBCA event.
Right.
But when you go into downtown Ellinger, Texas, is your preparation different than what you're putting in a box for some place like Houston?
No doubt, without a doubt, those are totally different cooks. As a matter of fact, you just talked about the Gadinki, you talked about Schulenburg Festival, you talked about Ellinger, whether it be May Feast or whether you talk about the Tomato Festival. Those cook-offs those three are within 25 miles of one another. And you talk about three totally different cooks, astronomically different in profile and what you're turning in, and nothing that we're going to turn in if Rob's cooking somewhere with us, in those types competitions in today's time. Same thing at the Fayette County Fair. I mean, you're really not turning in those same profiles that we're used to turning in since 2020, to be quite honest. Those are totally different cooks, but those are also some of the cooks that you go, I'm gonna cook extra because I want to eat some of that for the rest of the week, because it's still going to be good.
What did you cut your teeth in events like that, and then ultimately, when you made that transition and started cooking a lot more CBA, IBCA, did you find yourself having to change what you did and what you've known?
That is correct. Outside of the whole cooking the meat by itself, knowing your time, your fuel, knowing your fire, and going, okay, at this time I've got to do this, at this time I've got to do that. That whole concept is pretty much the same for me. It's the difference of your finishing, and that's where a lot of people get lost in translation of knowing and not knowing finishing, and that's a huge thing for me to this day as well. Is am I finishing it correctly? Did I choose correctly, and what I'm going to go with on any certain given day? But you're right, we did cut our teeth, if you will, in a lot of these little small town backyard cooks, VFW halls, KC halls, county fairs, things of that nature, to go, okay, well, I'm going to dabble in something that they call competitive cooking. Not so much what we thought competitive cooking was and is.
Nice. All right, so we learned, about your beginnings, how you started, you got your name. Now Case has made some good questions about where you dabbled in to go. So this is leading all up to the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo, that 2020. Where did you feel how'd you feel going into that? Were you there to win it? Were you happy to be there? What's going on? Then we'll talk about the day, because I'm fascinated to see, ask you questions about later on in that day whenever you start realizing what's going on.
So it was a very stressful week as we roll into Houston Tuesday morning. We get there about 6 a.m. and nothing's open yet. So we stop right there at the gates next to Energy Stadium at the Denny's. We had breakfast. As it became light, we do not have a packet to get in. We don't have any parking passes. We don't have anything besides 4 barrels on the back of my truck, cooler, with some meat, and my back seat loaded down with seasonings and rubs and, different sauces and stuff to mix as what we call finishing sauces, if you will. I try and get in, and the guy at the gate just kind of smiles and laughs at me. He's like, "Sir, you don't have the credentials to get in here." And I was like, "No, really, I'm on the list. Like, I'm Fayette County Texan, like, I promise I'm on that list. And he's like, no, sir, you're not. I was like, well, is it under my name, Curt Harbers? No, sir. And there's nothing. So I work my way around kind of looking for anybody I know, anybody that I have talked to. I'm asking for people's names that, trying to find somebody. Of course, I've got my brother and stepdad, and they're just like, what's going on? What's happening? Looking at me, and I'm clueless. I have nothing. Well, I hear the same gentleman tell another guy that they had to go to another area to pick up their parking pass. I follow this gentleman across 610, around this big old windy into
Reed
this
Road.
parking lot. Yes, and I'm just going, man, I'm a shot in the dark. I pull off on the side, let all these other people behind me. They go, I go walking up. And I'm talking to this lady for probably 35 minutes. And one lady finally walks over and goes, what's going on? And she goes, hold on a minute, makes a phone call, comes back on, checks my ID, looks up where LaGrange, Texas is at, this, that, and the other, finally gets to the right person in Houston that does know, yes, that is correct, that's who's supposed to be here, gives me a parking pass to get on the grounds. Well, that's all we have. So I got one parking pass to get in. Well, as the week goes on, we're coming in and out of kind of the carnival area because there's some people still going, hey, that truck's not supposed to be in there. I don't know how he got that parking pass. So we're having to come through the carnival area, this, that, and the other, get by people to continue working, getting things set up, Wednesday and Thursday, getting in there. Still looking for, talking to our ambassador, and he has nothing. He hasn't received anything. There's no wristbands for us to get in. There's nothing. Friday gets here. We have our committee guy from Houston that walks up. It's kind of a older gentleman, short.
This is Friday of the contest?
Of the contest.
So
that is correct.
So you were already in there Thursday from the event?
Correct. In the event. That is correct. But
Yeah.
we don't have really any armbands. We don't have anything.
Okay.
We have no way for me to get in and out, back and forth.
Boxes?
We're hiding out at different places.
Did you get boxes yet?
I'm sorry?
Did you get your boxes at that point or no?
Not yet.
Okay.
That's when the committee guy comes over on Friday. And I talked to him, and I kind of explained to him the situation. And he kind of laughs at me like, yeah, whatever. You're a pretty funny guy. And next thing I know, I'm like, no, really, I'm being real serious with you. He checks us all in, gets all this stuff. And about an hour later, he comes back and he goes, I see what you mean. I have your boxes. And he hands them to us.
Okay.
You're
And
in.
that's
Welcome.
that's how we got our boxes.
That had to suck. But all right, so you have your boxes.
Very stressful throughout the week while we were there, thinking this is going to be a great time.
You thought you shouldn't even been there. You were sneaking in. You weren't even going into the damn correct gates and all that, man. All right, so you're in. You got them. Talk about the cook on Saturday. Everything go okay? Not so much of that because I kind of want to jump forward to the awards.
I know you do. So
ahead.
Friday, go home and go to the hotel, get a good night's rest. Of course, cold front blows in. We wake up, we go to the truck. Battery is dead. We got no way to get to. Oh my gosh, what do we do? So, we work through this, that, and the other. We finally get down to the cook-off. We're walking through a long line, this, that, and the other of trying to get to our tent. We get there. My air vents on my barrels, because it had been hot all week, and then that cold front came in, just sucked it tight because of the heat, and then all of a sudden that cold front, I couldn't get the vents open. So we've got a rubber mallet that we completely tear 4 portholes open on 4 barrels 16 times of just 3 guys just swinging a hammer trying to open these portholes so we can light a fire in our barrels.
Okay.
So we're about 45 minutes behind time. What we,
Right.
where we'd like to have been. About that time, fires kicked in. I mean, it was immediate. They were at temp like nobody's business. we put on, and we really were only about 10 minutes behind as far as going on with meats that we were needing to the initial side. And next thing you know, it was, man, chicken was going on. Next thing you know, ribs were going on, briskets were coming off. You know, we were excited about how they looked, how they felt. You know, that all looked good. Time to box chickens. Chickens, I mean, looked, felt phenomenal. Time to do whatever you do to chickens, you know, per se. And the guy comes and I got to read off the number, you know, from the tag. And he's like, sounds good. Put it in the box, however you want to do it. Let's close it up and duct tapes this. That's the craziest thing I'd ever seen also. First time for me to have witnessed that. Duct tape this, you know, to-go container totally up. And I was like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So okay. Is it just 1/2 chicken, or did you turn in chunks and a half chicken? Is that what
we turned in 1/2 chicken?
Okay. No pieces as well?
No, we did not turn in pieces in 2020.
Okay.
And next thing you know, you're getting ready, you know, for your ribs, and you're messing with your brisket at the same time. And same thing comes out, trying to figure out. He comes in, we're trying to figure out which rack of ribs to go with, because you get 2 racks, you get 2 briskets, you get 2 chickens. Trying to figure out, we kind of mix and match, tasting. We can't decide between us. We grabbed 2 people out of the audience. Try these 2. Which ones do you like? And they said unanimously this one. And we all looked at each other and was like, perfect. Went with those. He ran that good old duct tape around that thing about 6 times. Sent our walker on. Now it was like, whew, man, we have had a great cook so far. Things have turned out kind of the way we want to, even though this week has been crazy. We're down to 1 meat, and it's out of our hands. It's time for us to enjoy this finally.
Right.
And see what this Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo Party Palooza, whatever you want to call it, is all about. And we got into briskets, and he came in, and we started reading those numbers off, and everything was, you know, right. And I started slicing into them, and then I had my stepdad start slicing into the other one, and he looked over at me, and I looked at him, and I said, I really like this one. He said, I don't think you're going to want to turn anything in except for the one I'm cutting right now. And I said, oh, whatever. You know, he always says that. It could be the worst brisket he's ever had, best one he's ever cut into, just because he's got sharp knives and he's a meat cutter. So, you know, so it was one of those. So we tried it, and we're like, oh, wow, that's a good brisket. Then again, what do? We grabbed 2 people out of the crowd. Come here, try these. What do you think? Try these. And about that time, we all looked at each other, and they chose the one that my stepdad was cutting on. We turned those, you know, 10 slices in. Well, my old boy, Frank O'Neill, went to wrapping. He wrapped it up tight. I sent the walker on, and finally I said, guys, I'm done. I need to sit down and just have a beverage. And they all left out of the trailer, which, by the way, had a good friend named Kevin Caldwell, used Holy Smoke cooking trailer, and that was a wonderful thing for us, as the weather was terrible that week for us.
Thank goodness you just said that, because he was about to cry right there in the chat.
Yep.
He's in the chat. He's like, has he mentioned it yet? He's already said it. You did.
Is he? I haven't even seen the comments yet.
Officially, you did.
Did you ever go back and find your tasters from the audience and just give them a big hug when it's all said and done?
We do, yes. That's funny thing you asked that, Case, because we did get to we knew 2 of them. They were actually part of our Go Texan committee back home. And then the other 2 they came back that night. And, you know, we got to take pictures with them and stuff like that. So that was good to see that, and to find out that, hey, we tried that. And, you know, did you listen to what we thought, or did you turn your own in? And we let them know that, no, we did go with the one that they had said, because it was unanimous between everyone. So we did get to do that. That was pretty cool too as well. Cool.
Okay, so for those that don't know, after the turn-ins, it's a sit and wait game, just like any other contest. It's a sit and wait game, but there's not everybody goes to awards and you find out the top 10. In Houston, they've got committees, the barbecue committee, and they go around with cool little banners banners and a, what do you call that? A stick? No, what do you want to call that thing, guys?
A yard sign.
A yard sign. You go around with a yard sign, for a better term, that says
The
2020
finalist sign.
finalist. It's the finalist sign, and people are just waiting outside their camps. And these guys pull up in their golf carts, and they're making a whole bunch of noise, and you're just hoping that they come into your booth. So, talk about that when you might have heard the commotion. Y'all are, you felt like you had a good cook. Now you're putting the waiting game, and now the excitement comes on. All right, are they going to come down our aisle? And if they do, is it going to be our booth? So, kind of talk about that, because I haven't heard this story yet.
You bet, absolutely. And that was kind of after we had agreed to go and do the cook-off. The one thing we had talked about is, look, we just want to get on stage, right? Because there's been a couple of cooks from Fayette County that made it on stage previously. We just wanted to continue that tradition of, hey, Fayette County can produce some really good food. They can do good on a big stage. So that's really that was our goal, was to just get on that stage. And so anyway, we're in there. Like I said, I had kind of told everybody, hey, we'll clean this up later. I just want to sit down in here, have me a few beverages, and just kind of talk to myself and kind of clear my head and whatnot. Well, it had taken a long time, and I hadn't changed or anything, and it was getting kind of where you're kind of going, oh, well, you did your
Not
best.
going to happen. Yeah.
Not going to happen. It is late. And we're all the way, basically, that last lane up towards 610. We're way in the back.
In the corner.
In the corner. That's exactly where we were. And I'm sitting in there, and I'm like, all right, well, I still got to change, right? I mean, I am filthy, this, that, and the other, sweated. I want to look nice for the evening. We've got a band and things of that nature. So I actually have my shorts off in the trailer, and all of a sudden I hear people start screaming. And I'm like, oh, boy, I guess somebody down our aisle, right, because it's down the aisle.
Right.
And we're about halfway up the aisle. So I'm like, oh, boy, whatever. And about that time, my brother sees that it's our guy, because the guys across from us have a different guy, right? You kind of start to figure things out on your own.
You're checking it out, right?
You're checking it out. And all of a sudden, he catches my brother's eye, and he said, where's your brother? And my brother hits Kevin's trailer, and I mean rocks it. And he hits it a second time. And he's not a little fella, not a big fella, but, he is giving it everything he got, and that trailer is just rocking me. And I was like, quit messing with my feelings. Don't be doing that, right? Just because he's coming down the aisle, right?
Right.
And I was like, no way. I opened that door, drawers down. I ain't even got my pants on. And he goes, it's him. Man, I've never thrown jeans on so quick, button, and I'm starting to walk out as I'm pulling my belt together. And he catches me, and he, like I said, he was a small fella, and I'm not a tall fella. He jumps in my arms, and he said, congratulations.
He jumped in your arms.
And you can say I'm a baby. I don't care, because my eyes just started running and pouring with just tears, man, because, that's the only thing that we had prayed for and hoped for and wanted to do was become a finalist. And
that's a cool
story.
Man.
That dream had just come true, And he looked at me and he said, you need to wipe them smiles off. Them tears out your eyes, and give me a smile. We have 1 minute. He turned around and looked. He goes, you got 2 minutes, because I'm going to use your restroom, and then we got to go. We are late.
Wow.
And
so it was right there, right before
we are
awards.
Cruising through this parking lot to get to the stage. And when we get there, I was the 19th out of 20th person there. And it was like one guy was like immediately right behind me.
So Justin West asking the questions, the top 3 or top 10. It is top 10 out of, think last 2020, they probably had 280 teams-ish out there. So it's the top 10 in each category. So what did your final, was it in brisket you final?
No, it was in ribs.
It was in ribs?
It was in ribs. We ended up 4th ribs, 14th brisket, and 34th chicken.
Okay, so the finalists all get to go on stage, right? So you're on stage, and is it each category? Yeah, each category goes up.
That's correct.
The top 10 in each category go up, and then they announce 10th through first. And so you got called for 4th place. And
actually, they only, that year, in 2020, they only called the top 3.
Oh, really? They only called the top
They only
three.
called the top 3 in each.
So you didn't even get a call.
I didn't even get a call.
Okay.
The only call I got was the winner of the GOAT
Go
Texan
Texan.
overall. That is correct. And I thought that's all I could win. So I knew I didn't get a top 3 in anything, but I got overall Go Texan, which at that point I was done. I stepped out of the semicircle, if you will, because I thought I had just won just all I could win.
Right.
There wasn't but 2 trophies left, as a matter of fact, on that table. It was Go Texan overall winner and then your overall grand champion.
Okay, so then they start calling top 10. At this point, you think you're out?
Oh, absolutely. There's absolutely. I won all I could win. I think I'm only in the Go Texan
The Go Texan, right?
part. So Go Texan part's over. They're talking about everybody else that, that was back there, which, by the way, those 20 guys, 15 of those guys are your top cooks of the year in all, sanctioning bodies.
Yeah, that's a big win in its own. Like, that's a big win to take that one home, just that one, right? Part of you got your finalist banner, you've got your Go Texan, which is a bragging rights, for sure. So you're probably feeling like we've accomplished what we want to do here.
No doubt about it. No questions asked right there, Case. You're exactly right. I was so happy with the Go Texan, pointing down at my family, my brother, stepdad, father-in-law, his best friend, my wife, all the wives, everybody just going, yes, we did what we could do. Thank the Lord, that we were able to do what we were able to do, that, through adversity, we still were able to come out with a W.
Awesome. Okay, so now they're calling the top 10, right? Or did they call top 10, or they just only
No, they
call?
just call the top 3 again.
Okay, so in this point, you're just chilling with the people in the back. You have no idea what's going on.
Like I said, I stepped out of the semicircle because we are tight. We are literally like this, and I have the trophy for Go Texan and 5 belt buckles in my hand, and I kind of scoop back out of the semicircle, and it closes in front of me. And I'm kind of talking to the guys on stage, like, oh, yeah, man, having a good time, like,
Yeah.
woo, ready to kind of walk off stage, if you will, to like, let's get a beverage, because it's about 2 hours that, we're kind of waiting behind stage and different things that you're just like, man,
You're ready to celebrate. All right.
Absolutely.
So then they call the overall grand champion, and did you
Well,
hear
he
your
did.
name?
I'm going to tell you, David Stone took forever. Brian Manuel was on, now that I know their names. But he was like, wanting to pump the crowd up, this, that, and the other. And I was just like, come on, give it to one of these guys here and let's go, right? And he says, Fayette County Go Texan. And I was like, what? Huh? Oh my gosh. Well, I've got to figure out a way to get around all these people. And everybody's kind of turning around looking, going like, well, where did he go? And I ran all the way around these people to come running out. And that's where I actually start pointing at the crowd and down towards, again, the family and so forth. And really am screaming and kind of wanting to throw the hat, and it comes off and whatnot. But yet holding a 20-pound trophy and 5 belt buckles, and they're wanting to hand you another 25-pound trophy and 5 more belt buckles. And Brian Benton was like, you want me to hold on to these? And I was like, would you please? That would be great. So, that was one heck of a feeling that's indescribable. And that's exactly what I told that lady that evening, like on stage, as a matter of fact. She said, how do you feel? And I told her it's indescribable. Like, thank the Lord that we were able to do this, because without him, it's, nothing's obtainable. And we really appreciate him giving us the blessing and having mercy on us, and us having the week that we did and coming out. And, I guess as I'm reminded quite frequently, I owe it to Brad Olenek not being from Fayette County, if you will. Back to the Fayette County Go Texan.
Hey man,
So,
what a cool story, man, and that is great. I'm so happy for you. So what does that afforded you winning, being a world champion of the Houston Livestock? I know you got to go to the Jack. You're going to be here in Houston again on Champions Corner, but anything change for you after winning that big old contest?
there's some doors that were opened. There were some people that have called, that have reached out, that have been very, very nice, or that have wanted some caterings. It's done some things of that nature. Been fortunate enough to really meet a lot of good people throughout all of this. That winning Houston would not have been able to maybe necessarily met. That we're very thankful for, because not just monetarily wise or anything of that nature where we got sponsorships, but more so the camaraderie, and the next time you got to see them maybe at another event and they were like, hey, I remember you, we talked the last time at such and such, and now you get a second conversation with them and you really start to get to know them, that kind of thing. That's kind of how it all started, and you move on. And then, like you said, we were fortunate enough, we got to go to the American Royal. That was our second time at the Royal. So that was awesome. To be able to go to the Jack, phenomenal experience. Something that I hope I get the opportunity to do again. That is a phenomenal place that they hold it at, and they hold the cooks to the highest standard, and that's what it's really all about. Again, like you said, get to cook San Antonio. Loved San Antonio. I will be back there. Also, Houston, man, I have no idea. It's been a great run. 2 years in the making of trying to go at defend the title, if you will. I guess is how you want to call it. And that first year went by so fast, but so slow at the same time, that 2021 kind of took a while to get underway before we were able to kind of start cooking again. One of the first places that we got to cook in 2021 after it's somewhat kind of started, is one of your, sponsors of the Social Smoking Bitter Show, and that's the barbecue store. And man, we went down there and we absolutely got just our butt handed to us. And that's how this sport does it. They keep you humble very quickly. You're the winner one weekend, and the next weekend you got last. And that's kind of where you go, woo, guess I go back to the, you just don't show up and it happens for you.
Yeah.
Like, we get that as we go different places, and you have a good week and a bad week when you cook on a regular basis. But is there any more pressure for you now when you go home to LaGrange and Weimar? Now suddenly you're not just Curt, you're world champion Curt, showing up in Ellinger and Weimar and places. Is there any more pressure for you back home, or is it just a fun cook? And do you feel like there's a target on your back, showing up at these, the small hometown events, knowing that, you're walking in as the winner of Houston?
You bet. There's no doubt there's some pressure there. You try not to put any more added pressure on yourself. Cooking itself is pressure enough. That you've got to do certain things, and if you're off any certain thing, that there's how many ever cooks over there that are ready to knock you off the table, and that's what they're there for, right? So you try not to put any more added pressure on there, but you're right. There's other people that are sitting there that are coming out, that they're not looking at the big picture of, hey, I want to go and win that cook-off. I just want to beat that guy right there. As long as I beat that guy, man, I had a good day. So that's one of those deals where you go, it's nice. It feels good. It'll never be, bad to hear them say, hey, I beat you today, where you go, wow, that means something, really.
All right, last question from the chat. Rob, does Curt feel like he can repeat this year? Brad Olenek says now you have to cook next to him on Champions Row. So, and Brian Fox is telling you good luck. No one has ever won back-to-back in Houston on Champions Row. Good, they're rooting for you. Good luck, man. So, how you feeling this year?
We've learned a lot going different places. Learned a lot just in cooking. Learned a lot about the science of it. There's lots of details that go into it that before you may not have really understood what you were doing. You thought you did until you really get into it and you start talking to other people, sitting down in little not chat rooms, but around the fire, if you will, and talking about the different, proteins and what they do and how they react at different temperatures. You really start getting invited to some of those things. That's where a lot of things make your mind start spinning and going, oh, wow, yeah. Oh, that did do that to me at such and such and so forth. So those are some things that we did learn that were very, fortunate. We're able to pick up some nuggets, if you will, and being able to talk to some of these people that, not that they're not nice people or wouldn't, talk to you at any other given point. Because, man, the barbecue family is something to speak of. Growing up as an athlete, as Kay said, his second best athlete, I guess, is what he was mentioning earlier. But, barbecue family is second to none because of the competition side of it. Everyone wants to win, but at the same time, they want you to win if they can't win. And they're very, thankful and proud of you and things of that nature. So, you feel like, hey, we got to go and do our part, right? We're gonna do what we can, starting with good proteins.
Yep.
We're gonna do what we can, prepping them. We're gonna do what we can to get the fire right. We're gonna do what we can to maintain those fires for the extended period that we need to do it with, and then turn around and turn in and finish that protein and go, hey, now it's any other cook-off at that point. It's in the judge's hands, and as long as we know at the end of the day we turned in a good protein, then I'm okay with that.
Awesome. Hey, well, before we let you go, anybody you want to thank and any sponsors or people?
Absolutely. We've got a list of sponsors, man. That first, want to thank the good Lord. I want to thank my family, the wife, kid, grandparents, brothers, sisters. Everybody that watches out for our son when we're gone and being able to be at these cook-offs. We want to thank all of them. My mom, all those people that are around. Got to thank my teammates. My brothers, my stepdad, my father-in-law's friends. All of their wives and girlfriends. We got to thank all of them, because it takes a village when you actually get out there and do something like the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. We really, you can't do it without them. And then to be able to have, some sponsors on an everyday basis, those that are helping us sponsor at Houston, we've got a big banner with all their names in our tent. Like I said, we're in spot 927. Please come out, come see us. We'll have music, food, drinks, what have you. Come see us, come say hello. I love getting to visit with each and every one of y'all at all the different cook-offs. Houston's no different. So we'll be at that tent for majority of the time. Saturdays where we'll end up, being at our spot on the Champions Row, and that's for the cook and to have a lot of fun. But, without some of the best fuel in the world, B&B Charcoal, very fortunate to have them as a sponsor for, our third year in a row. Very fortunate that we get to have them. Riley Smokers, that's what I cook on, the drums. They've treated me right from day one, even when I only had one, and learned how to cook on it, and then got to two. And then, my brother bought one where we had three, and then we got to four. We're at six, we're at eight, things of that nature. All of a sudden you start looking like Robert Smith, with his. So, it's one of those, you've got to thank those guys that each week are helping you out to be able to go and to do this, And for the last year and a half, we've had El Ching on Glazes. He's helped us out a ton. Omar's done a great job with getting us our stuff at different cook-offs throughout the years. We really got to thank those guys a lot for what they do and for what they've been able to help us out with our cook-offs. So, without without any of those people that I mentioned, man, CC's Country Barbecue just wouldn't be the same.
All right. I appreciate that, Curt, and thank you. Sorry, it's been 2 long years, but we'll get you on again. That was a hell of a story, man. Congratulations on that big, huge call and that huge win, 2020 HLSR World Champion, Curt Harbers. Good luck this year. And
I figured it had to come up. So
don't forget him. Oh, hey, Evan used them. Don't worry, he's a champ.
So I can tell you before we let you go, I get a message from you, and I said, "Hey, Case, what's your address?" And I was like, Am I gonna get like an autograph photo? The last time LaGrange beat Columbus in football, and so I opened up a care package. I appreciate it. It was in the middle of COVID. We were camping a bunch. It's fantastic rubs, both of them. But yeah, here I am. I opened that package up, and I got to look at your mug, and I got to look at product of LaGrange, Texas, sitting on my countertop in the kitchen. So we did appreciate it. They're fantastic. But yeah, it's I don't know what was worse, having to look at your face or that LaGrange tag on there.
All right. Thanks again for coming on the show, man.
Thanks, Rob, Case. We appreciate y'all, and we appreciate all you listeners out there for everything. And come by and say hi, whether it's Houston or the next cook-off. I really enjoy the camaraderie. So once again, thank you to So Smoking Gooder Show.
All right, buddy. Thank you very much. There he was, Mr. Curt Harbers, the 2020 World Champion at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo, hoping to defend his title this year. Wes Reed with a comment, very humble world champ. Never met him, but will definitely stop by and say hi at Houston. All right. That was good. Man, his sponsor list was nearing CJ Beans there, Case, huh?
Yeah, no doubt. It's sorry.
Hey, that's what happens. It's bedtime.
Sorry, we have guests.
Yes.
Katie, you're in the. No, it's I can tell you he makes it sound a little pretty simple, but getting in and out of Houston, even when you have all the right credentials, is a pain. And I wouldn't imagine what it would like to show up and not have it.
Absolutely, yeah. Though that would have been terrible, not knowing where to go. Like you said, he was sneaking in, doing all of that. All right, guys, we are going to do. We're not done yet. We have the 2020 HLSR Jr Grand Champ. He has been patiently waiting. He'll be on here in just a couple of minutes, but first we're going to do the bull printing wraps and graphics wrap-up recap. I know a lot of y'all love hearing your names on the show. Last weekend in Edinburgh, Texas, there was a Champions Barbecue Alliance, the first Precision Pump Systems pre-Super Bowl tailgate. The reserve grand champion of that was Natural Born Drillers, who's just tearing it up down there in the valley. And the grand champion was Team Buffa, B-U-F-F-A. Who's your B-U-F-F, Case?
Do what? B-U-F-F? What?
Nothing. All right, and in Spring, Texas, an IBCA event, there were 35 teams that made the trip over to Spring, Texas. The reserve grand champion, you'll recognize these names, Robert Smith, First Class Barbecue, and the grand champion, Mr. Play the Clip himself, Phil Breeden from LC Barbecue. They took reserve and grand over in Spring. Yes, 27,000. Dr. Smoke Dr. Smoke is your BFF. What's up, David Gonzalez? I will see him next weekend. And he says, sorry I'm late. I was watching the IBCA show. That's awesome. I'm glad. Hope some of y'all came over. Shout out to the IBCA live show. It's being held. I think he moved it. I hope it's official. He moved the time from 8:30, which went right on when we were going, to 7 o'clock. And so, Case, I know you made a comment on that show. But, hey.
Wrap it up at 8.
I love it. Hey, I'm glad they're doing that show. I'm glad they moved it to 7 o'clock on Wednesdays, because you know where to go, 8 o'clock right here on your Facebook and your YouTube and your Twitch.
I think we win the rating wars.
I don't know, Kate. Don't even. Hey, also, we didn't talk about how can they find this on podcast, Case, while I pull up the upcoming event segment.
If their show did run long, which it shouldn't have, you can turn around and we'll have all the audio available wherever you hear podcasts. So that's Apple, Spotify, you name it. You can find it. Obviously, the video's live here on Facebook, and I'm being told YouTube, and then some other channel that I've never heard of. So
Twitch.
Glad you're with us. So welcome.
All right. Okay, we're going to do the Briscoe Ranch Cook-Off at the Crossroads. That's going to be held this year, December 9th and 10th, 2022 in Uvalde, Texas. Case, we love. Where am I again? There we go. We love this cook-off. We go. This will be our third year when we come this year. Case, hopefully you can make it this year. But talk about the. You've been there, Case. Talk about the venue and everything that Wade Carpenter and crew do for the cooks in Uvalde.
Yeah, Uvalde's a fantastic event. It's got a great place for judging and camaraderie. They've got a cornhole event. Lots of places, big trailers won't get stuck, and that's a good thing. And hell, when I show up, it snows, so that's even more impressive. And so it's a fantastic event in December, and truly one of the premier cook-offs in the state of Texas.
Absolutely. Okay, so not too many cook-offs going on right now. The February 18th in Shiner, Texas, second annual John Heibner Memorial Barbecue Cook-Off. That is an IBCA event. I'm sure you can go to ibcabbq.org and register if you like. Also, this coming weekend in Buna, Texas, it's the 9th annual Buna Redbud Festival Cook-Off in Buna, Texas. There is a kids queue as well, and Victoria Livestock Show and Barbecue Cook-Off in Victoria, Texas. So 3 IBCA events weekend. I did check OBAs. I didn't see anything as of yet coming up. But CBA has one called A-Town Hammer Down. That is being held in Canyon, Texas, February, this coming weekend. You can go to cbabbq.com and register for that event. Okay. We have knocked out. Look at this. Now that I want to bring him on screen, he's not even there.
It's bedtime.
He's not even there. But we'll get him on in just a second. Okay. Where is he? Where is he?
In your house.
Let's bring on the junior champ again. I'm just kidding. That's not him. that is not him. Hey, junior champ, we're waiting on you. He has literally been sitting there the entire time, and now that I want him to come on, I'll take a few minutes. I mentioned Phil Breeden with LC Barbecue. He's sitting back down again. I am actually taking a road trip with Phil. We're going to Yuma, Arizona this weekend. He's competing in a KCBS event, and I'm going to go and be a road dog and do some filming, probably go live. So again, if you guys following us on YouTube, click that like, hit the bell, whatever you do. Case knows all about it. But we'll be going live from the road with Phil and I. That should be fun, and we'll be going to Yuma, Arizona for KCBS. All right, punctuality like father, like son. You are killing me. All right, what is going on with... All right, here we go. Add to stream. Let's see if this is working.
Hello.
Dude.
There he is. This is the... everybody, let me introduce you to the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo 2020 World Championship Barbecue Cook-Off Junior Grand Champion, Evan Arocha. How are you, young man?
I'm doing good.
Evan,
Where were you?
Do you tell your dad world champions make their own time? You can show up to this interview whenever you're ready.
I've been waiting on him.
He's actually been waiting the whole time listening to Curt's story. What'd you think of Curt's story of his big win at the Houston Livestock?
I wasn't paying attention.
Oh my gosh. He wasn't paying attention. All right. So what have you been paying attention to, Evan? Did you hear anything?
I was watching YouTube.
That's what I'm talking about.
And we're on YouTube. Why don't you watch us on YouTube?
Because I've been... what's the point when I have you on it right here?
That's a valid point.
He does He does raise a good point. All right, Evan. So you are the defending champ. Some say you may have a target going into this contest. There probably may be some parents and their young junior competitors watching. Do you feel any added pressure, like Curt kind of mentioned, going around? Do you feel any added pressure going into this year?
Nah.
I mean, you've already won it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you've got to be relaxed because no one can ever win it. No one can ever win it again the first time. So forever, you'll be the first ever champ, right?
Yes.
Bingo.
How's that make you feel? You will always be, there will never be an inaugural junior grand champion of the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. How does that make you feel?
I don't know.
Come on, use your words.
You are by far you're the most decorated cook in that house, Evan. Do you ever think about that?
I don't think so.
Evan, you cooked for a pit maker, correct?
Yes.
How was that being around those guys?
Pretty good.
Your dad and I can't even get in their tent, and you were able to actually, we have to sneak in the back door, and you were part of Team Pitmaker. That's way more impressive than either one of us have ever done at Houston Rodeo. I want you to know that.
It's pretty cool.
All right, Evan. So talk to us about that first time when you arrived at the contest. Did you have any nerves? Because you had been practicing. I know this because we practiced together. You were ready to go, but were you nervous? Did you see the setting, the big stage on there? Did that faze you at all?
No.
More importantly, Evan, do you ever tell your dad now, you know what, I don't need any more pointers. I'm a world champion.
No.
That's what I would do.
All right, so you arrived with a little fanfare. I remember the news crews that were there. They were filming all the other children. They didn't actually go around, and I remember they walked up to you and they skipped you. They just went right past you onto the next kid. Why do you think that was, Evan?
Probably because I was wearing sweatpants and a hoodie.
You're wearing sweatpants and a hoodie.
Is that frowned upon?
I don't know. Are you gonna go with the same sweatpants and hoodie look this year? Because all the cameras are gonna be on you when you arrive. You are the defending grand champion. You know that, right? The kids are gunning for you. They the news cameras are gonna come ask you questions like we are, and I hope you answer more than one word whenever they do. But how you feeling about that? You got a target on your back. Do you feel like that is happening right now? And is that phasing you now?
No, not really.
I've got one. Who's a better cook, you or Eli?
Me, definitely.
That's. Do you ever try to give Eli pointers?
No.
No. What is the rivalry? Is there a rivalry between you and your brother when it comes to cooking competitions?
Yeah.
There is a rivalry. All right, Evan, you're gonna have to use more than a few words because I want you, in your own words, talk about when you were on the stage, kind of like we asked Curt. When you're on the stage with all the other kids and you're hearing the top 10, walk us through in more than 3 words. What were you thinking? And then how did you feel about your steak? Were you confident in that steak at the time? And were you thinking, all right, I'm going to win this thing? Or were you, I don't know. Tell me what you were thinking at that time.
I was pretty confident I was gonna win because my steak looked pretty good and didn't see many other really good steaks. But
you were judging the competition, Evan?
Yeah.
Nice.
You were side-eyeing your opponents?
Just a few people next to me.
And so you felt good about your steak. Okay, so when they're calling the names, when they get down to third, I guess they call probably top 3 just like they did for the big boys and girls. But so you're feeling pretty good, and when they call you for first, what was your initial reaction? Did you hear your name clearly? Did you know it was you?
Yeah. It was cool.
It was cool. You went up, and now all those cameras that didn't take a picture of you now they're all in your face. Talk about those initial moments. What was that like? Because I wasn't with you. You were all up on stage by yourself, and then you had to go to some back room, and you had people like the Wall Street Journal, Channel 13,
TMZ.
TMZ. They were all in your face. What was that experience like for you? I know you were pretty shocked.
I didn't like it.
You didn't like it.
No, that's mostly why I gave one-word responses.
Oh, well, you're giving
Correct.
one-word responses now. I guess you don't like this either, huh?
I don't. He's been around the two of us for a while, so I don't blame him for either one of those. Evan, when you, I went looking because it popped up on my memory the other day, but it wasn't that long ago. You were cooking in a Star Wars mask at a kids' Q event, and now you're a world champion. So it's pretty awesome. Do you enjoy cooking? Is it something that you want to do more? I know you do baseball. What's your favorite thing to do?
Video games.
Nice. I think that is the official end. What's your favorite video game that I've probably never heard of?
Currently, I would have to say that my favorite video game is either this game called Into the Radius or Destiny
Okay.
2.
So how
That-
annoying is it when your dad kicks you off the internet for him to do his podcast show?
Very annoying.
See, he put more thought into that dang video game question than anything we've thrown at him tonight. So you have a question from the chat, Evan, and it says, "Do you garnish your box, or did you? Did you garnish your box?"
I did. I put kale down, I put the steak in the middle, and then I lined a shrimp around the steak.
Surf and turf. Did you grill the
Surf.
shrimp at the exact same time?
I didn't hear you.
Did you grill the shrimp at the same time?
As a steak,
Yeah.
I think I started it like when I was halfway through the steak.
So you had two meats on at one time. Was it practiced that way, or did you have any issues keeping up with? Evan, I cooked a steak one time at a steak cook-off and finished dead last. There's no way I could do shrimp at the same time.
What do you say to that, Evan?
It wasn't hard. All I had to do was just wait for the shrimp to cook and then flip it and then.
All right,
put it back
so
on.
you've been practicing. We got lots more to practice leading up to next Friday, but you're pretty good at your timelines. I know. I watched this kid. He knows how to cook a steak. He's pretty good at it. He knows the timelines. He's figuring out. You already know your seasonings. You want to divulge any of this information tonight, son?
Nah.
Nah, he's gonna keep
That's
it close.
exactly what the pros say.
He's gonna keep it close to the vest. All right, so a couple more questions, and then we'll let you go. So, what is your attire going to be this year? Didn't they announce? It's. We should call this the Evan Arocha rule. No longer sweatpants are allowed, right, Evan?
What?
Yeah.
Dude, you're the world champ. If you want to show up in sweatpants, I say you just show up in sweatpants.
He said, "Yeah." What are you wearing?
Right now? Shorts.
No, at the contest.
Oh. All right. Hoodie, hat, and jeans with
All right,
sweatpants over them.
Hey, show
There you go.
everybody your trophy and what the kids are after this year. Pull that up.
There you go. The bow-legged H trophy.
There it is. What does it say on the front? Can you read it?
World Champion Barbecue Contest, Champion Junior Cook-Off.
Nice.
Awesome.
How was that? You realize how coveted that is, right? You gotta save that forever and ever and ever. Again, you're the inaugural only winner. Last thing, and we'll let you go. Is there anybody you want to thank, like I said to Curt, before we let you get?
Mainly, you can thank me. It's fine.
I don't think I will do that.
Oh.
I'd like to thank George, Victor, and Julio with Pitmaker.
There you go. That's a good start.
And
Pitmaker's your sponsor out there. The kids all have sponsors, so Pitmaker's his sponsor.
and also you and Mom.
Thanks, I appreciate that. Oh, you're talking about
Not
your
you.
dad. Oh,
Me and Mom. Well, thank you, son. I appreciate that.
what about
And
your brother?
Oh yeah, what about your brother?
He gets no thanks.
So, last question, Evan, for you. There's a lot of new kids now. They opened the field from 25 to 35. They've got some new competition out there. There's some kids that won San Antonio Rodeo that are coming. There's other kids that have won some other big events. There's a steak cooker, I understand, that's competing with the big boys on the SCA circuit. I believe she's going to be there at the contest. Are you phased at all? Are you worried about any of this? They're coming after that trophy.
Well, from what I've heard, the competition is a lot harder than last year, but I am still confident I can win.
That's good. You got to have confidence going in there. Any advice for any new young kids that are coming out there? Anything you want to?
Don't
what?
drop the steak. Don't drop the steak.
Write that down.
Don't drop the steak. Yeah, yeah. That's good advice. Don't drop the steak. All right, Evan. Thank you. This is your first time on the So Smoking Gooder show. What do you think of that?
I mean, it's cool.
What do you think of this show that me and Case do every week? What the teenagers thought on this?
Oh no, I never watch it.
Neither do I.
Yeah, neither does Case. All right, son, we're going to let you go. And lastly, what is Killer Dog Plays, and how would you get your name Killer Dog Barbecue? I forgot to ask you that one.
Well, there never was a space in between in my name at all. No spaces at all.
So it's just going to be Killer Dog Barbecue, no space?
I mean, kind of ditched the barbecue thing, but changed it to Plays because it looks better as a username
There you go.
than barbecue.
All right, so that's your what do they call them? That's your gamer tag?
Yeah.
All right. Evan Arocha, good luck. There's still lots of practice between you and I in the next week, before next week. Are you ready for that?
Yep, I'm ready.
You know why I'm ready for it?
Why?
Because you cook a damn good steak. I get to eat steak afterward. It's all good. All right. Well, thank you, son. It's bedtime. It's 9:17. Time to go to bed.
All right.
Good
All
luck,
right.
buddy.
Good luck, Evan. All right, there he was. I had no idea how that was going to go, and pretty
Went
much
exactly how it should go.
pretty much. I was talking to him earlier. I was like, you have to talk more than one word, because last time he won, like Channel 13, all the news crews were in his face, and how'd you feel? Good. What'd you cook? Steak. How's it make you feel? Happy. It was all one word. Exactly. Epic interview.
I would have done the Marshawn Lynch. I would just came on our show and I'm just here so I don't get grounded.
Yeah. All right. Well, the last part of this show, because we're going to wrap this up. We've been at an hour and 18 minutes. We've been going over hours, man. I don't think we have an hour limit anymore, Case, because
well, we better. I promised the next door neighbor that I would put her to bed. So
I've got trust me, I've got to get down, because I'll be leaving. I'll be in Bandera at 6 a.m. So I got stuff to do. But last order of business is to tell you the upcoming schedule for the So Smoking Gooder show. We've got some cool things coming up. Case, are you going to be on the rodeo grounds at all, Bubba?
probably. Oh, we'll see. Probably not though.
Okay. I will be on the rodeo grounds on Wednesday. I know that's not a public night. That's when all the cooks. So if your cookers are out there on Wednesday night, I will be out there. Dennis Butterworth is graciously invited me to do our show. So Wednesday night, 8 o'clock. Hopefully, if all goes well and signal's all great, we're going to be coming to you live from the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo Barbecue Cook-Off Grounds from War Pig Barbecue's tent. I'm going to talk to some pitmasters before that day. I don't know who's going to get on or how many of us are going to get on, but we're going to have a little roundtable type thing. That's going to be coming to you live from the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo World Championships Barbecue cook-off. And if you are out on the ground, to talk to my boy over at Bull Printing Wraps and Graphics, he's going to be hooking me up with a lot more of these. So if you don't have a So Smoking Gooder Show decal, look up, Case.
I've got one.
Come find me on the grounds at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. I'll be bumping around, tent hopping. If you see this face and you want to let me in your booth, say, come on in, Rob. Come on in. And I will. All right, so that's going to be next weekend. The following weekend is going to be March the 2nd. We got a big one. Case, you better clear your schedule. You better be here for that. We've got Darian Cosmo of Cosmo's Q Products. He is going to be our guest on March the 2nd. Wednesday night at 8 o'clock, March the 2nd, we're going to have Cosmo on, and I'm super, super duper excited to have Cosmo on. If you guys haven't checked out his new podcast, it's called Cosmo Unfiltered. We're going to definitely be asking him questions about that. It's not just strictly a barbecue thing. It's a life thing, and it's really cool. It talks about his story, his beginnings, and I was fascinated by it, and I can't wait to talk to him about that alongside all the barbecue that he has, and he's been a sponsor. I'm a Team Cosmo, proud Team Cosmo member, so I am excited to have Cosmo on. Case, you going to be in for that?
Probably so. Darian's a hell of a character, and can't be interesting to talk to him.
Yes. Wes Reed will be the cameraman. All right, I'll see you, Wes. I'll see you Wednesday, Kevin. Yeah, if anybody else out there, let me know. I will be there. Ship one to me. What is he talking about? Oh, a sticker. I'll see. Oh, maybe. Are you going to be in Mercedes? So I'm also going to be in Mercedes that same weekend. I'm going to the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo, leaving Friday after Evans cook-off. I'm headed down to Mercedes for Smoking on the Rio, $50,000 plus. Big event down in Mercedes, Texas. I will be there as well. Again, find me there. I should have some decals for the So Smoking Gooder Show to hand out. And then after that, the next weekend, I will be in Georgia for RecTech Academy. I'll be instructing. You believe they let me teach people how to do barbecue, Case?
Nope.
Me neither. But it happened. Shout out to RecTech, Greg Muller, Jody Flanagan, the barbecue dad expert, and Ray Carnes and everybody with RecTech. So I'll see them. That'll be in 3 short weeks. 3 short weeks. I'll be in Georgia at the RecTech Academy. So that's what's coming up for the So Smoking Gooder Show, guys. Thank you guys for watching this thing. We do appreciate it. We are Case. We're the most watched fake barbecue internet show on the planet.
Correct. Take that Barbecue Central show.
You know how I know that's true? Because I just said it. I don't know. Fact check me, people. Austin? I don't know what's in Austin. No, I will not be in Austin anytime soon. San Antonio soon, but not Austin. All right, guys. Well, thank you guys again. My YouTube peeps, thank you so much for holding it down over there on the YouTube. I appreciate it. Again, that one Twitch guy, thank you. And, of course, always, I love the Facebook crowd that comes in. Thank you guys for supporting the show. It means so much to us. Case, anything you want to add before we get out of here?
NASCAR's back. Good conversation with Curt. It's been a while. Kurt's joked with us when we've crossed paths, because he kind of did win Houston, which is kind of a big deal. But fantastic story. Mr. Evan Arocha, man, so proud of that kid. I've been around for a few years and watching him grow up, and it's that interview went exactly how it should have went, young man. And you're a world champ, and you can answer whatever questions however you want to answer it. Don't let him fool you. So. And good luck hitting the curveball this year, kid.
Yeah, no shit. I like you have CC's Country Barbecue on your helmet back there. That's pretty cool.
Columbus Cardinals. Thank you.
Columbus Cardinals. Okay, yeah. Thanks again to Curt Harbers, and best of luck coming up next week at defending his title. Man, if he defends that title, he gets to come back on the So Smoking Gooder Show, and he doesn't have to wait 2 years. Nah, we'll let him come back pretty soon. All right, guys, that's going to wrap up the show. Thanks again for tuning in. We'll see you guys next weekend or next week. Actually, you know what? Again, hit the notifications. I will be live from Yuma, Arizona with Phil Breeden, but for sure next week, 8 o'clock. Well, if all goes well, out on the grounds, but we're going to be coming to you live from the War Pig Barbecue Camp at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. All right, that's going to wrap it up. Case, closes out, Bubba.
Absolutely. Enjoyed you tonight. Take care of yourself. Good night, Barbecue Nation. You too, California.
Late.